Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Revival of America podcast. This is Jenny. I'm the owner and the host of the Revival of America. Today we have Warren Armour in the house with PPN, everybody. So please, over here on Telegram, if you have a question for Mr. Warren, feel free to raise your hand. I will unmute your mic, and you can ask Warren your question at some point in this podcast. Or if you are over here on Telegram, Rumble Live, or X Live, and you can't speak over here on Telegram, put all of your comments down in the comment area, and I will read those to Warren also at some point in this podcast. Oh my goodness, I'm doing it again. Okay, Telegram, can you guys hear me over there? Raise your hand if you can. I think I am talking in green mic or blue mic. Okay, you guys can hear me. Okay, cool. All right, Rumble, Live, X Live, can you guys hear me okay? Just say yes or whatever in the comments. Okay, everybody. All right, so everybody, please also too, be careful who you listen to, who you follow, what you're putting in your mind. It's wild out there. It's happening on a day-to-day basis. So just, you know the drill, everybody. Just please be careful who you listen to, who you follow, what you put in your mind, because it is a powerful tool, your mind. And I can understand how people can be confused, not know who to follow. Just they don't trust anybody because there's a lot of drama going on. And if anything, everybody, first and foremost, follow our great Lord above. And then, of course, Donald Trump, because he's really out there telling us without telling us. And his movement, everybody, from the way he speaks to the way he moves, is not a man that's in fear or worried. So just watch him, guys, because if he's not fearful, we shouldn't. Well, we should never be fearful, but we shouldn't be worried, guys. So just pay attention to Donald Trump, because he is really giving us a lot of great crumbs. And, through what he says and his movements, I think he's giving us a lot of comms that is going to be okay. Also, too, if you come in late to the podcast, everybody, and you want to listen to the replay or send it to a friend or family, please follow the podcast on the podcast hosts, which are iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Apple, Google, Breaker, PocketCast, Riverside, Podbean, Amazon Music. Social medias are Jenny Dreed Facebook, at Jenny_Dreed X, at JDreed Rumble, at JDreed Tree Social, at JDreed Instagram, The Revival of America right here on Telegram, and The Revival of America over on YouTube. And real quickly, last show with Rick Anson. Clearly, I forgot to end the stream. And if you guys were on the last part of it, and you heard a little bit of it, little teenager drama. So it's not. I edited it, but if you're there live, you probably heard about 5 minutes of it. So yeah, just a little bit of teenage drama. So I want to apologize for that. And oops. So anyway, it's one of those things you just kind of laugh at, after you listen to it. But also, everybody, for those of you that are sending me emails to my personal email, which is therevivalofamerica@yahoo.com, I will get back to you if I haven't responded to you. But many of you also, too, are sending your stories, your journeys over there, and they're getting buried just through the everyday emails that I get, or they're getting sent to spam. So please, if you have a story or a journey that you would like to have heard on the podcast, don't send them to the revivalofamerica@yahoo.com. Send them to TROA submissions@yahoo.com. I did create that email specific just for these submissions. So again, that is TROA submissions@yahoo.com. And once I read through the little clip of your story, I vet them, because yes, guys, I get the shysters over there as well. If I believe it's a legit story, I will go ahead and respond to you back via email, and we'll get your story heard on the podcast. Because remember, guys, it's your voice, your story that's going to help shape this new world that we're coming into. But if you have an email for me and you want to talk about John Baxter, and you try to get a hold of him, go see him. Field McConnell's books, they are still available. Email me at therevivalofamerica@yahoo.com. John Baxter is still giving that free AI scan. If you guys are looking for a second, third opinion, I highly recommend you do it. It's free. It doesn't hurt you to do it, right? So, and I believe it's like a $500 value, but he's giving it to my audience for free. So definitely, guys, take advantage of that, because there's a lot of great testimonials coming out of what John's doing over there, as well as what Rick Anson is doing with Brain IQ Health and Ageless Peptides. I had a great show with him. If you guys weren't there to listen to it, my last podcast a little bit ago, definitely go check it out, everybody, because if you're looking for alternative ways, you're just tired of that hamster wheel of big pharma and all that kind of stuff, check these guys out, because they're really making a difference in the world now and what is to come. and what we are going to be stepping into. So with that, everybody, let me see. For some reason, I can't see my guests when they pop in here. Warren, are you here? Do you guys
Yes,
see Warren?
ma'am.
What? Why can't I see you? Damn it.
I don't know. I'm invisible over
There you
here.
are.
How are you?
Oh,
Nice to
good to
hear your
see
voice.
you. Well, I'm sorry that if I would have known you were in here, I would have tried to cut it short. But anyway, you got to hear a little bit of my PSAs.
Well, great, great. I like listening to it. So I like being just a listener, along with speaking sometimes if that's what I'm supposed to do. So that's cool.
Well, we love having you here, and I know you are loved by so many in this community. And I thought it would be great because I know you have Juan on your show, kind of like all of us here and there. It's kind of sporadic because he's a busy guy and he travels a lot. But you do have Matt on there often. And the last I spoke with Juan was about a week and a half ago, and tried to get him on a podcast, but he had to travel just last minute. So. And I was watching you and listening to you on your show, and I think it would, because a lot of us listen to you and everybody over there at PPN. And what I was listening to you on that specific days, you were talking about some things that you were hearing, and what you were being told that we could see coming in the coming days, weeks, months. We know Donald Trump, our great president, is going to be addressing the nation tomorrow, and I think this is going to be monumental. It's going to be pivotal. It's going to be huge. This is what we've been waiting for. 2020 is not over yet. And I would just love to hear, what if you know anything more, what your thoughts are, because I think we're all on the same wavelength, but it's always good to get somebody else's perspective, especially someone that you don't talk to on a daily basis. So I'd love to just hear what you have to say. And then if you want to go into Q&A, we could do that as well.
Great. Well, yeah, this for me started probably about Thursday of last week. And I think we've all known that some really big things were coming up. As far as we're all waiting, when's that accountability? When's something going to be on mainstream media? When is something, when are we going to get some kind of relief, and all that relief, to me, starts with elections and how that's going to go. We know that, Juan has always said that Trump is going for uh, free and fair elections and fair money. So I've told people for a couple of years now that I believe we're going to be going after the 2020 election, the 2016 election. People that went after Trump, Russia, people that went after Flynn. and and it's exciting for me because I'm grading myself to see, okay, am I making any sense? Is what I'm seeing with my own eyes, is that working? And I think that I'm past that, and I'm very comfortable. Now, I've been comfortable, but when you just have a lot of people saying, when's the accountability going to come and everything, and a lot of people don't trust any kind of military action that's going on or whatever, it's you just have to watch out. I have to watch out about what I'm saying, and that I'm doing the best I can as far as information coming in, and I'm comfortable with what I'm saying. So I got this, started getting information from a few different places. I guess maybe Wednesday night, so a little bit Thursday, and then Friday it started pouring in. And I've told a lot of people, what that was and how that worked out. I'll be glad to tell you again what brought me to the conclusion that this week is huge. And really, I kind of told everybody before I knew that Trump was going to have a speech on Thursday. Uh, well, tomorrow, but I'll do it however you want. I can tell you some new things that have come up, or tell you that, and some new things. I just want to do what you want to do.
Well, yeah, I think it's pretty interesting that he's having the and nothing's a coincidence, right? The speech on the same day that John F. Kennedy Jr. his plane went down right around the same time. Thought that was pretty interesting. And this whole freaking Lindsey Graham thing connects zero dots, makes no sense at all. But yeah, I mean, we can talk about it all. I would love for you to let us know, because I think it was last week. I don't know, maybe earlier in the week is when I saw you. And that's when we were talking to get you scheduled, I think. And, but yeah, I mean, tell the audience, because some people may not have heard you, they may have missed it. But I think, you get a lot of you get a lot of the same information and great information that I do, from a lot of the same different people, Juan and other sources. So yeah, just I would love for you to take it away. The floor is yours, my friend.
Cool. Well, it kind of started off with a few little texts about what was that word he used? Well, I'll have to go back to it. Oh my goodness, tectonic, uh, tectonic shift. And I was like, okay, great, whatever, And then you look at it and it's got a definition that's like changing a lot of things, And so those started picking up. And from Wednesday to Friday, it went from Monday is going to change everything. And but always, well, actually put it this way. Wednesday, Thursday, it was the next 2 weeks are going to be big. And then Thursday, Friday, it was okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is going to be huge. To then Friday, oh my goodness, this is going to change everything. And then Friday, when I was on my call, Tina Peters was on there for the coalition call, and she was just telling us a little bit about her incarceration. Saying that after she has gotten in and talked with Trump, and Peter Tickton was there with her and someone else, but she felt very good about what she had gone through. Not great, but it looks like it's going to be worth it, because when she first got out, before she had talked to Trump and before she was kind of filled in on some things that were fixing to happen, she was like, what did I do this for? Why did I go through all of this? If, I went through this for a reason. Why are we not further along than what we should be? And then all of a sudden, she got a little information coming in and then talked to Trump. And she was like, okay, I feel better. There has been some big time things going on behind the scenes. Well, then at the end of her thing, she said, I'm just really excited about the last 2 minutes, let's say. I'm really excited about, what's on me now, where Juan had talked to her and said, you have gone from a pawn to the queen, to a queen, where you will be there to shield and protect the king, our president, Donald Trump. And that, a lot of the information that's coming out, it could very well have her face on it. And I believe people will see where she goes and maybe meets with Trump a little more, some more times, and it's on TV and it's shown to talk about her experience that she had. And so that was all really good, excited. So then at the end, she said, I'm just really, really excited about what's going on the next 2 weeks. So that was Friday. And that's when I really got information. It's not necessarily just the next 2 weeks, it's a long time, but the ramping up is going to start Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So that made me happy. Then Mark Cook, Hand Count Roadshow, was on the show. We had the South Koreans, where our coalition has gone international, and but along with the Brazilians, and he talked, but not much. We let the South Koreans speak, and then at the end of it, he said, I'm just really excited about the last 2 weeks. Now, that's not something that he says unless he is given the okay to say. If he is maybe not instructed, but maybe said, okay, just in passing conversation, hey, if you want to go ahead and say this or that, go ahead and put it out there. It's coming. And that to me is how that happened. It was time for the coalition to
So you're
go Go ahead.
So real quickly, so you're saying Mark, right? Mark's his name, right? The chief of Juan's chief of staff is speaking a little bit more freely, kind of like Juan is, I've noticed.
So I'm talking about, he is, but actually who I'm talking about is Mark Cook with
Okay.
Handcount Roadshow, and Matt is doing the same thing. So when I get information, it's mainly from Matt, except for now, it's all kinds of people are sending me stuff. Sheila, Mark, Mitch Vexler, Chief Sean Taylor. Those are just the people that have called either today or yesterday, or text me today and yesterday, just giving me little pieces of information like, this, here it comes. Are you excited? I'm like, yeah, I'm excited, but I'm trying not to act like I'm excited. I'm just chilling. So that's kind of what's been going on in the background for me. So then,
go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead, please.
No, I thought you were done. Go for it. You go.
Okay.
Keep going. Keep going.
So now we come to Monday, and I think everyone was like, okay, here we go. It's fixing to happen. And then, of course, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday means things are going to start happening in the background, and they're going to, the people that are actually bringing it out, those people are going to start bringing it out, and it takes a day or two to really get out and get going. But if you just take things that are happening right now, I mean, you look at it and you say, okay, Trump has said this is going to be, he's bringing out this information. We know it is that it's about election fraud. You've got the other day on the show, and then in talk time, of course, I have been telling people, if you're in Georgia and you want to know what's going on, just first off, just remember that fraud has got to start, the taking down of it has got to start somewhere. And Fulton County is one of the first places I went, meeting Garland Favorito. And by the way, I've been telling people, hey, if you're in Georgia, follow Garland. He is, I saw him there. I believe I've seen him 3 or 4 times, but I also just saw him a couple of weekends ago in the coalition reunion in Virginia, and talked to him and his sweet wife. And he is going to, after Trump's speech, Matt sent me this. It says briefing following President Trump's speech to nation Thursday night could be a pivotal moment for election integrity. Join voter GA supporters for a live stream and of President Trump's speech to the nation with live text chat beginning at 9 o'clock. Immediately afterward, Garland Favorito will host a special online briefing and Q&A session. That's tomorrow night. Well, Matt does not put things on my text and it not really, really means something. So he did that. He sent me a thing today, actually, that says Department of War, failure is not an option. No distractions. Stay locked in, Patriots. He sent me another thing today about a Manhattan Project for American elections. And it's just a little com- uh, commercial type thing, but it's got little boxes saying the diagnostic, why the current system fails, the results and things, and how cheating happened. He also sent me an executive summary of, it looks like this one is the lawsuit to defend cognitive liberty and protest the public, Doe versus Palantir Technologies, Peter Thiel. Not sure if everybody's seen that, where that's come out. I don't know if this is out in the open yet, but this is coming. He also sent me a deal that is the blueprint of, and I can't even hardly read the name, Panopticon, the blueprint of Panopticon. And I'm not sure exactly what that is. It talks about John and Jane Doe proceeding due to alleged threats, targets, Palantir Technologies Incorporated, Peter Thiel, Alex Karp. It looks to me like the core. Oh, I tell you what this is. This is what they've got against him. I had not read this good. The core thesis, the obsolescence agenda. Okay, this is a slideshow that he sent me. Okay. He also sent me something that must be important. The United States fiddle. The United States District Court for the District of Columbia, Palantir Technologies Incorporated, Peter Thiel, and it gives me the whole court case, I guess. So anyways, that means that I need to be watching that because there is something fixing to go down on Palantir right now. There is a deal the other day where he sent me, I mean, just a bunch of texts right in the heart of when a bunch of little things were going on. He did it. Sheila did it. Peter, not Peter, Tickton, Mitch Vexler started texting me big time, and so did Chief Sean Taylor. And all of them were just right. I mean, right at the same time. I was like, whoo, here we go. This is fixing to ramp up. And at the same time, we were getting information about something's happening right now. President Trump made an urgent, unscheduled return to the White House. And I'm not sure if that was today or Sunday, Monday, something like that. They're sending me all these things. He's saying this is, what'd you say?
I was just gonna say I saw something today from Benny Johnson saying that he's canceled all his scheduling and pretty much put himself in the war room. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Benny Johnson had a live on that today.
Yeah, that's good. When I saw that, I haven't read the whole thing or listened to it or whatever, but if you think about it, we've been on offense a little bit, but now we are really going on offense. So when should I expect a false flag, a big false flag? When we go on offense, it's all about, you know, look over here instead of over there. Look, they need something big if this information is coming out, and they need it bad, and they need it right now. So I'm expecting that. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's kind of crazy how I felt very comfortable when people were getting in trouble over the last 2 to 3, 4 years. And, you could say, oh my goodness, there's fixing to be a false flag. School shooting is going to happen sometime between Monday and Wednesday. And by George, it happened. So that has been, that's a terrible thing to guess on, but, at least I hope it was showing people that, hey, these people are trying to get you to look at the wrong information. It's kind of like people, uh, talking about how bad things are and how terrible things are when actually they're starting to really, really come along. I'm excited. So just, okay, let's take Mitch Vexler. He said his first thing was, "Hey, remind Juan to check his email," and then he is sending information to Peter Tickton. It was a demand that was put out by Colorado with regards to turning over some open records requests for Tina Peters. Uh, Everything that needed to happen was like 98% done. But these are all things. Okay. Mitch Vexler, the bonds in Texas, has all the information. I was talking to him at the Fraud Fighter Summit, and I happened to walk up to him when he was kind of in awe for a second or kind of excited about something, but really he was just in shock because for a year and a half he's been going over these bonds Um, and well, longer than that, but for a year and a half, he's had it ready to be submitted to Texas, and finding the right lawyer that would take his information and that was qualified in Texas to do this, there aren't any. Well, at Fraud Fighter Summit, he talked to David Kinney and Peter Tickton about 30 minutes before I walked up to him and started talking to him. And he said, they just said, both of them said, hey, I can take care of that. And I said, okay, well, so what does that mean? He said, well, once I do that, if they can do what they say they can do, and it sounds like they can, um, then I can have this before the Supreme Court in 4 to 6 weeks. And then he said, oh, and by the way, my information takes down Congress. I said, oh, well, hey, that's a pretty good thing. Okay, great. Because a lot of his information is concerning the bonds and our land taxes and the inflation and how our property taxes are going up, and a house on a road is $500,000 and one just like it is 250,000. Neither one of them has had any renovations. They're relatively the same house, just on different lots, and one of them is appraised at 500,000. One of them is appraised at 250. There's so many people on the hook for that in a scam. That is the governors, the mayors, probably out of each county, one land appraiser or home inspector, people behind the scenes, they know it. Those are the people that are in really major trouble. So I think what his information does is he gets a lot of other information kicked off and starting to really, really circulate. Because today he sent me a text that was saying that, first off, he was getting some information to Peter Tickton about the J6 people. He had reached out this morning asking to be brought up to speed on how the math of the election fraud took place. He said, I gave him a short explanation of the software and then sent him the Second Amendment to the criminal complaint, which is big for Peter because it's 403 pages. But the evidence he seeks on Colorado with regards to the cast vote records is in there. Coincidentally, yesterday, the liaison for Colorado State Records sent an email to Travis Spencer making demand for $306 million to answer his open records request. He said, these idiots are the gift that just keep giving. By the way, Peter and Juan have both been emailed this notice. All of these, what's happening, just so everybody knows, and what I'm seeing is the coalition that I'm in. I've only been in it, let's say, 4 years, since about 22, maybe 21. Can't remember. But these are the people that are behind the scenes that maybe got excited when they said make America great again, and there are leaders of these coalitions, and I've called it. There was a huddle up at one time where I wouldn't be surprised if maybe a general or someone high up said, "Hey, we need help with elections. We need help with the border. We need help with Russia. We need help with this, gathering evidence." And people stepped up and formed coalitions and got America First into the battle through Patrick Byrne, which is the America Project, which is TAP. That's what I named my show after, because uh, one day he asked, he said, Warren, I want you to see what you can do with the America Project. And I said, okay. And I've told that story a few times. And then Juan said, I want Matt Meck to be his co-host because we need to get him time behind the screen, because he's going to be at Gitmo, because he worked there and because he worked at the Pentagon and because he was a instructor at Top Gun, and because he was the whistleblower for Fast and Furious, and actually the one that briefed Trump on it. And he knows all the DOJ, the IRS, the task forces. He understands it, and he was a whistleblower. He can help when the whistleblowers come. Well, at that time, a long time ago, I didn't necessarily understand that. I didn't understand that there were whistleblowers out there that had no idea how they were ever going to get information to the people that needed to have the information. I did not realize that. Just like I did not realize that we were, I thought, that's the only coalition I knew of. I didn't realize there were other coalitions all over the place until they started showing up about a year and a half ago in our meetings. And I said, okay, well, this is cool. And then to come to find out, Juan has been helping all of them, and Matt has been helping all of them, and Mark has been helping all of them, plus South Korea and Brazil the whole time. I did not know that. Well, it was very advantageous for all the coalitions to come to our coalition because we have 6 founding members that are now in Trump's administration. So we have people that we are communicating with that were in our coalition that helped start it. And then, of course, we've got Juan and Matt. So what happens is, since Matt was with Fast and Furious and know all those people, someone high up came to Matt and said, "Do you know 107?" And he said, "No." And he said, "Well, one day you're going to meet him, and I want you to show him this contact that's in your phone." He said, "Okay." And then somebody went to Juan and said, "Juan, do you know Matt Meck?" And he said, "No." He said, "Well, one day you're going to meet him, and when you see him, show him this contact in your phone, and y'all will both know that you're on the same team, and see where that goes from there." They met one time, and Matt became Juan's chief of staff, and it's because of their contacts. And so whistleblowers are able to come to the coalition, and whether it's Matt, Juan, some others that can talk to the DOJ, the task forces, the IRS, the FBI, and do on a regular basis. They they come in, the coalition, they brief everyone, just like this, just like I was a whistleblower speaking to the coalition. And then their stuff is looked over. If they need a lawyer to look over their stuff, like we did the executive order for Trump's executive order, the lawyers will go over it, get it up to par, and then they will someone will say, "Okay, it's time for your stuff to go up the hill." They will introduce them to the DOJ, to the IRS, and let them talk to those people on their own, just like they did with Chief Sean Taylor. So I talked to Chief Sean Taylor today, and he was going to visit the U.S. Attorney and the DOJ today. They sent um, Chief Sean Taylor to the Flynn's, and the Flynn's have been catering to him, teaching him about what it's like up there working with these people, and showing him the ropes. And now he has been, he's learned, he understands, and he's able to call them on his own, just like others are. And that's exactly what is happening. There is a schedule, it's event driven, and all of the information that needs to get to the right places is there. Everything that comes after, or today or tomorrow or whenever, is all extra. Just my opinion. The Florida,
Wow.
um, the Florida grand jury, both of them are as good as done. If they're not done, that Peter Santilli took all of his information for, all gave all their information to. That's why Pam Bondi was hanging out in Florida. She was watching over the grand juries. Um, People don't know these things, and they're not supposed to. I'm not necessarily supposed to know these things, but somehow, um, by hanging out with the people that are doing the work, that's what I'm learning. And I'm not having to waste my time listening to a bunch of bull. I'm watching it with my own eyes. I watch whistleblowers come up to let's say let's say Matt and say, okay, come up there with their lawyer. Okay, the lawyers start talking. Matt, looks like we're ready. We've got everything. We're good to go. What do we do next? He said, just send it over, and I'll take care of it, and I'll get it to the DOJ. And I'm like, whoa! He just was very nonchalant about that. What just happened? That was one of the first instances a year ago that I said, wow, that's kind of a trip. And um, now I hear them doing that all the time. This information is coming out right now. Yes, we're knowing about it a little quicker, but not much, 3 or 4 days. You know, yes, I knew that this stuff that's coming out right now was going to happen maybe last Wednesday. We've all known it. We just didn't know when. But in my opinion, a lot of stuff is coming out right now on election fraud, 2020, 2016, Russia, anyone that went after Trump, anyone that went after Flynn. And then that's going to happen until what we have, the Storm Summit. And we'll probably have a few more appetizers, some people being indicted, and some people maybe getting arrested. Some people, if anybody knew how many judges are being removed right now, and how many um, people are retiring and resigning and passing away, I can't even keep up with it. It's anybody that is not seeing the judges that are going down, and is it kind of not? I don't think there's any coincidence that about these senators, and I don't think it's any coincidence that let's say the Senate committee hearing on election fraud, attended by Nick Shirley and James O'Keefe, I think. That's absent of Democratic representatives. What about Todd Blanche confirmation hearing that's underway? Hosted by the Education Department. What about the U.S. Treasury and is minting the federal notes, the gold coins that are, let's say those gold coins are what, 19,000 each, and some other ones are, the silver ones are 750 or 950. Well, Oathkeeper Bill from, that is on the show with me sometimes, he called them. They said, yep, that's true. That's correct. That's not a typo. That is correct. That's the cost. It's not a coincidence that Bassett, whatever his name is, said, yeah, all the gold is there in Fort Knox. You know, it's just it's not a coincidence that um, let's say the U.S. senators scheduled to meet to advance some kind of stable coin provision. You know, now think about the digital asset space. BlackRock and J.P. Morgan have established framework for tokenization and cross-border payments between the U.S. and U.K. That pretty much equates to implementation of XRP. If you ask me, I don't know. I'm not there. I'm not watching it, and they hadn't said XRP is what they're using. But dead gum. What about where officials in the U.S. military mission in Iraq scheduled for September 30th, right after the Storm Summit? What about J.P. Morgan, Gold Stack, BlackRock, Vanguard, and the New York Stock Exchange are trialing the tokenization of U.S. stocks and treasuries, and what is it called? DTCC tokenization initiative supposedly became a reality today. What about Warren Buffett reportedly cutting donations to Bill Gates Foundation over the Epstein connection? And then Benjamin Netanyahu, your mama, whatever it is, said was told he couldn't come to see. Donald Trump said no, and then all of a sudden we hear Netanyahu has planned a visit to come this Saturday. Something's in trouble. Trump just endorsed Mike Lindell for the governor of Minnesota, criticized that Amy, can't even say her last name.
Amy Coney Barrett.
Yeah, that thing.
That
And
thing.
described New York's termination of the data center construction. He called it liquid gold. What's that all about?
Yeah.
What about the Peter Thiel thing that I just spoke of? Now I don't know if that's out yet. The Peter Thiel thing with technology where it's
Well,
filed.
Well, let me just say this about Peter Thiel and all his little goonies. That, if you do some research on Palantir, when Trump says caught them all, we have it all. We've been weaponizing their own weapons that they had against us on them, right? But if you do research on Peter Thiel, the open AI guy, and those people, the people that Trump brought up right away in the beginning, I think it was Stargate or something like that. If you do research, you'll see there's a lot of nefarious. So when you said that something's about to pop on that, go down with Palantir, I'm not surprised about that at all. But I do want to say here to everybody in the audience, if you guys are paying attention to what Warren is saying, this is probably the most good information, accurate information that I have heard in a long time in one setting. Like, you have so many people. This is why I always say it's important who you listen to, who you follow, and what you're putting into your mind. I always say to my audience, 107, whether you like him or not, I love him to death. I love his storytelling. I love how he takes us from the birth to the grave. But if you're not listening to him and paying attention to him, you really need to. And this is why I say it's important who you listen to, who you follow. I mean, look at all this information that Warren just gave us. And yeah, we've kind of all been expecting this stuff to happen, but we just get so caught up in the noise, the surface bullshit. And this takes it down to, I don't know. I lost count of how many things that Warren just said that are happening, that are gonna happen. So for those people that say nothing is happening, give them this podcast and let them listen to it, because Warren just spouted out a bunch of stuff that's coming up, that's already happened, from the judges, from the arrests of these pedophiles, these child trafficking rings. Like, this is I'm just sitting back here and loving what you're saying, Warren. So I have to give you your flowers, your kudos, whatever you want to say, and say I appreciate it, because I just love the straightforwardness. None of the, like, I circled the drain, but it never drains. So thank you so much. And I'm sure the audience is probably in awe of what you are saying, because you're really kind of hitting all the targets. XRP. I mean, you're hitting everything. So this is awesome. I do want to ask you, though, before you finish and we go into questions. So when you say things are about to hit, are you saying Wednesday, Thursday this week, next week? Well, today is Wednesday, so tomorrow's Thursday. Are you saying next week?
All of this information that I'm talking about are things that
Yeah,
are literally being put on CNN. Some of them,
right.
I'm started getting them behind the scenes, but this this is the start of, in my opinion, the wakey moment where
This is
we're
where the media is going to be forced to start telling the truth, everybody. So we're here.
yeah,
We're here.
this is
So So, say Trump comes out tomorrow. I'm just curious, kind of what's going to follow the aftermath, right? What is your take? And obviously, it's your opinion. Once he has his speech tomorrow, and what do you foresee, in your opinion, and everything that you're gathering from the information you're getting, you foresee happening? You see the unrest starting to happen. Like, what do we, the people? I mean, I think we all kind of know what we need to look for, head on a swivel kind of thing. But what are your thoughts? If you can give any of us some more tips.
can you play a audio on here?
Uh, Me or you?
I don't know how to, but let me put it
Um,
this way. If I send you something, you can put it up. It's by Catherine Heritage, and it was sent to me
okay.
by the coalition. And she pretty much she worked at Gitmo. She is because Matt is sending this to me, it's someone that he has vetted, that is a white hat, that might have been kind of laying back, giving good information, but is now really putting out some good stuff. And I'll send it to you, and you can do what you want to with it. But it was on
I'll try
X.
to send it to me. Can you send it to me via text, and I'll try to play it through here. Streaming through Telegram and live
That's
on
fine.
X and Rumble. And yeah, so send that to me. And then I also wanted to ask your opinion on and I tell my audience that we see Juan showing his face a little bit more out there and talking a little bit more freely, as are many. But I thought it was very curious that he's showing more comfortable showing his face without the hat. And my thought process is, and I've talked to some people about it, and they agree that if he's feeling that comfortable to do that, that we are nearing the end. What are
We're
your
we're
thoughts
we're,
on that?
we're at the beginning of the end. We're at the beginning of the end. Um, that is where all of the information is where it needs to be. So if you take what does that mean? When Patrick Byrne came to us, and he's been, he came on kind of on our show first and started putting stuff out because it's his show too, in my opinion. The America Project. He owns the America Project. We're on tap. That's him. He's the one that asked me to do it and gave me the okay. Um, he said when he got his information that he had been gallivanting all over the United States and all over the world, taking care of the whistleblowers about the China, uh, Cuba, Venezuela, Serbia interference in our elections. After all, he got gathered everything. He took it. Oh, I've got everything. He gave it to the people he was supposed to, and he got to see what Trump has. And he said, "Well, Trump's got the he's got the mother load. Trump's got the mother load. He's got everything I had and more." Martine Rodil, who I think is coming on my show Monday, I think I was just told. Martine is the whistleblower of all whistleblowers, and the one that was running around the world with Patrick as the investigator that everybody wants to be like. Maybe him and Peter Santilli and a few others. But he said when he showed who he needed to show all his information, turned it in, let's say, his project, turned it in to the DOJ, to the president, um, that he said he came back and said, well, Trump had everything I had. In fact, he's got the Holy Grail. Well, I was at the Fraud Fighter Summit, and I was talking to Edward Solomon, the mathematician, and Pete Santilli, who was the one that dropped all of his information off in at the two grand juries in Florida, which is laptops and Russia and 2020 everything. Um, he was talking to Ed Solomon, and Ed was fixing to go on stage and do his talk, and he said, I gotta tell these people, there's no white horse coming, man. Trump doesn't have a magic nobody's got a magic wand. They're just going to go up there and just make this all better. We've got to do this. We're in trouble, which he doesn't know anything except for mathematics. He's looking at the numbers. He doesn't know what this group knows, which is more than what the Trump administration knows, because they have not been read in to what's going on. They've learned anything they know outside what other people call conspiracy theories by organically coming into groups like y'all's to see what the heck's really going on, or they've seen it and believed it, just like we did when we woke up. They've been doing it organically on purpose, just like the coalition people have been doing. But anyways, he interrupted Ed and said, well, I'm going to tell you right now, Trump's got the magic wand. I know because I handed it to him, and then I found out what he's got, and he already had a bigger wand than I had. And I started laughing. I said, "Dang!" So I told him what Patrick had said and what Martine had said. First he was kind of a tripping that I knew him, and then I told him. Then I told him about my show and everything, and that Patrick was and Juan were influential in doing it. Said, "Oh yeah, I remember being on your show." They all say that I look like I'm 5'2" when I'm on my show, and I'm 6'3.5", 6'4", so they didn't recognize me. But anyways, I knew things. I got to get on the conversation because I knew everything about Peter Santilli. I was saying, "Hey, that was neat that you did this," and "Oh, that was neat that this happened." And this guy, he's like, "Who's this crazy dude?" Well, I just want everybody to know that in the background, that's what's being said. It's just that the events have to happen in order because it's event driven. And I don't know the whole plan. I don't know when that's going to happen. But what I can say is this right now, present time, today, tomorrow is when it starts. The beginning of the end. And they've got everything they need. It's a done deal, in my opinion, but it's going to be nasty. Why would Juan O'Savin take his uh, be on the show with his face? The only reason he wasn't on the show with his face from the beginning is because they were trying to weed out who the leader of the coalition is because they knew they had to take that person out. He had to do that for safety reasons.
Yeah,
That's
amen. I believe that. I believe
that's
Juan is a very, 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 very special person in this movement, everybody. So, okay, so I did get your text from Catherine Heritage, but we have some questions here, so maybe we should go to those and then I can play it.
yes,
You
ma'am.
want to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you sure you got some time for a couple questions?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You don't have to call me ma'am. You're so
I'm
sweet.
sorry.
All
I
right.
say that to my daughter, so
I
I just
know.
it's a habit. So I apologize.
You know. Okay, go ahead, Miss Cassandra. Your mic is unmuted.
I just wanted to make sure everybody heard breaking news today that Chuck did rip a fart on the Senate floor in his hot mic moment today. It's heating up, let me tell you. Prophecy is definitely a hot summer. And the fall of the cabal in the fall. Warren, thank you so much again for showing up. Jenny, thanks for hosting, Warren. I mean, it's really wonderful to see the sound voices that are tucked into our hearts that we trust and really come forward at the right time and at the right moment as these kind of showcasers kind of drift away in the past. So thank you, Warren. Um, I guess Jenny kind of already asked the question, about 2, 3 weeks ago, prior to the 4th of July, we were really expecting two boom moments, two pause moments you had referenced. And my inclination is that this is that first pause, possibly tomorrow, um, for Trump's speech, and then obviously shutting down the elections in the fall. So I'll let you comment on that if you have any insight on that. And then my other question was, and it's kind of stuck with me since you said it, was Cuba, and how we're going to take out China so that we can remove them and then continue to build out, because the prisoners are going to be uh, well fitted in Cuba, I think at Gitmo, and growing that out. So do you know a timeline on that and any kind of more information on that? I'm just not sure how they remove China. So that was my one question. And then I'm assuming that this first boom is this week, and it wasn't the 4th of July.
So
Thank you.
okay, gotcha. So what I had said was that we're going to go and celebrate the 4th of July, and then the start of the Jubilee year is July 5th, and then we're going to pause for 5 to 7 to 10 days, and then the hammer is going to be dropped. So that was Monday. Um, but the Monday is when the hammer started dropping behind the scenes, and we're just now seeing it today and tomorrow. Trump is going to come out and tell maybe some real good stuff about the elections. It's got to start somewhere. My vote would be for Fulton County since we have Garland Favorito with the coalition doing a question and answer after Trump's speech tomorrow evening.
Yeah, I
So
mean, my
now,
assumption will be
now the
in just
hammer
in,
is dropped, and
okay.
now it's going. So the pause we just went through the first pause I'm talking about, and so I feel pretty good about that timeline. I might have missed it by 3 or 4 days or something, but yeah, yeah, that's what I meant, whether I said it right or not.
Got it. And I'm
Thank
not really sensing an EAS or anything of that gravity. tomorrow? I mean, are you? I'm
No,
thinking it's gonna be something to get the conversation lit up, but are you expecting something bigger than that?
I'm expecting, if anything happens, I'm expecting good news to come out that we think is good news, that the whole world thinks is, oh Lord, we're all going to hell in a handbag. Um, the start of the real wakey that I couldn't achieve just telling friends and family and things like that. I don't expect an EAS, EBS yet, but I can't say that. I expect that really sometime in October. That's I am going to travel as I want to. After the storm summit is done, I'm gonna chill. So October, I'm not gonna put anything on my list. Juan said this is gonna probably be the last get together for the rallies and things for the year. Now, I talked to Juan. Juan gave me the responsibility of working on prices and things for doing one in Nashville. I reported back to him. Of course, it's his job. He says yay or nay. Whatever he decides is great with me. I don't think we're going to do it because he has ended up having to, during the date we were thinking about doing it, he is going to be out of the country. He's got some things to do, in my opinion, a little bit after the storm summit. We might not see him for a little bit. Not a long time by any means, but you know how he does when he's going out of the country. He tries to come in, and then it might be 3 or 4 days on planes and all that stuff. He might have a little pause of what he's doing, but the real pause is going to be the pause for not having elections. That'll be
Got it.
the next pause.
And to follow up on that, it's about $500 for a ticket. For those that
Mhm.
aren't able to afford to be able to go, how can we best support that event for everybody in the room?
You can always, if somebody wanted to uh, put some money in somewhere, we can probably find a way to do that. But really, any owners of any channels, if they would like to get in touch with me, or you can just reach out to Mark Cook. Mark Cook's number is out there. Reach out to him, and you can mention my name if you don't know him, and just say, "Hey, I want to show all of the Storm Summit, and I want to become a whatever." I don't know what it is, but it's where he gives you a live link, and the more the better. I've been bringing uh, Mark around. If you can't tell, there's a lot of stuff going on in Telegram, where Telegram is where a lot of workers are, a lot of mama bears, some good dadgum people that want to work and are humanitarians, and all they talk about is the Lord and praying and hell healing and humanitarian projects, and get everybody up to speed on what's going on. It is a not an untapped source, but it is a source that, who knows, maybe the coalition has been planning on uh, getting more information to them for a long time. I don't know, but I do know that you've got someone, you know, a lot of people don't listen in the past, have not listened to Juan, let's say, because maybe he talks in circles or maybe he tells too many stories. But I'll tell you what, Juan, the whole time has been the one to listen to. I'm just sorry. I watch it. I see it. I've watched every show that he's ever done for the most part. Um, then when I get to know him real well and becomes a friend, along with Matt and Mark and all of them, um, I don't have to guess and figure out who to listen to anymore. I don't have to. I see it with my own eyes. I see when he comes on Jenny Show. He doesn't come on Jenny Show because this group is not important. He comes on here because it helps the movement, because she gets out to a lot of people. I remember when he first came on her show, and that was a great thing, I thought, because this group needs to be informed with the right stuff. And I see a lot of coalitions. You know, this group might be a coalition. That other Telegram group might be a coalition. And not to say everybody's just going to get in together and stay together, but go together, share information, and then go back to their respective groups and their coalition, just like the coalitions I've watched get together. And when they do that, then information spreads, good information spreads like hotcakes. And it's just a good thing to watch. And I don't think that was any accident. There's some good people that need to know the right things in Telegram. And I don't know. That's where I am.
Yeah, no, you're right in that. There's a lot of misinformation and disinformation out there. Yeah, we know that's all a part of it, but at the end of the day, I tell my audience there's a lot of noise, a lot of people that stay on the surface level bullshit, and it's bullshit. They don't ever get to the core of it, and they just circle that drain and it never drains. So this here today was, I mean, it was amazing. And Juan has shared a lot of this stuff with me, obviously not what you've recently just got within the last week, but about the category 7 storm, of which we never see those, right? So we just need to be prepared, everybody, because we're in it, everybody. The storm is here. Okay, I have a couple questions over here for you, Warren, on
So
Rumble.
one thing I would call us probably in about a 3 to a 3.5 after the end of this week, a cat 3.5. We are heading into a 4 here in a few weeks. We'll be
Lost you, Warren. We lost you. Can you hear us? Can you hear me? Oh no. All right, guys, he went out. He's gonna have to come back in.
I don't know what happened.
There you are. Okay, go
All right.
go ahead. So you said, yeah,
Um,
we're in a category 3, coming into 4, 5, 6, 7 by the end of the year.
Well, he might start using a 7, but the first time I heard it a good bit ago, his thing was that uh, in coming out of the Storm Summit, we're going to be heading into a 5. We'll be there at a 5 until sometime in October, when we will cross over into a Cat 6 hurricane scenario for a brief little bit, and then we're going to come right back over, and then it will be going down. We can. I remember when I first told people on the show before Juan had ever said that. I said I can see that Cat 2 hurricane gaining speed off of the distance, and it's coming. People are like, what are you talking about? And it's just because Juan had said that to me already. I knew he was going to say it, so I started comparing things to a freaking hurricane that's going on. So that was kind of
Well,
cool.
and just know, everybody, we don't have category 6, 7 hurricanes. It's 5, and 5s, could be life threatening if you're not prepared. So that's why you need to be prepared first and foremost, mentally be prepared, and then everything else is going to follow. So yeah, take heed of this, guys, because again, it's serious stuff. We're here, but this is what we've been waiting for. And I mean, we're all going to be okay, but just remember, we're going to be the ones that your neighbors, your loved ones that aren't awake yet are going to be coming to, because unfortunately, some of those people out there, may not survive it because they can't handle the truth, don't want to handle the truth. They might put themselves in a wrong place, wrong time type situation. So just be careful and be mindful of all of that, guys. So okay, here, Warren, here's a couple questions for you from Rumble. E. Dolphin says, will the election still happen in the other 70 countries be revealed as well? Thank you.
Well, we've started off with 2 or 3, introducing them to people in the United States, because we want people to see that don't believe that they were messed with. We want people to see that it happened in other countries, to show the conspiracy, to show how it was done by the same group in 72 countries. So when they see that, oh, it happened in South Korea, oh, it happened in Brazil, oh, it happened here, oh, I wonder if it did happen in the United States. and they're going to use the same thing. Hey, it happened in America just like it happened to us. That's why we're doing that.
Okay, here's another one from DMOM HFW. Warren, do you think PA fraud could be one of the first announced? President Trump is here right now, 20 minutes up the road from me today. They had a lot of major roads closed, rounding up people? Question mark.
Can you say who they said? Could that be the first one?
So could PA Pennsylvania fraud could it be the first to be announced? President Trump was there today, just 20 minutes from this individual. They had a lot of major roads closed. Could they be rounding up people? Question mark.
You know, it very well could be. Look for swing states. Look at Fulton County. Pennsylvania's in there too. Utah's in there. Yeah, there's a lot.
Arizona.
I don't have a exact by any means, and I don't know about that certain situation. I just haven't been briefed on that.
Okay, thank you, Warren. All right, I'm gonna play a clip that let me know if you guys can hear it from that Warren sent me from Catherine Herridge. Let's see. Okay, let me turn it up here, guys. So it's coming off of my phone, so hang on. It plays, right?
Sources tell me that a credible whistleblower complaint was filed alleging the CIA, FBI, and other IC agencies suppressed intelligence about China's influence operations during the 2020 election, targeting President Trump and his campaign. Based on my reporting, China's goal was to impede President Trump's re-election and denigrate him as a candidate. I understand the DNI is actively working to declassify the records. According to these accounts, the CIA, then led by Director Gina Haspel, would not document the Chinese influence operations in a formal way, out of concern that President Trump would use the intelligence to his advantage. Based on the complaint, senior intelligence officials are accused of heavy-handed editing of the whistleblowers' reports about China's sweeping influence operations during the 2020 election cycle. In some instances, senior CIA officials are accused of taking pen to paper to strike sections because the intelligence assessments would help Trump. I am told some track changes make specific reference to domestic politics. A senior intelligence official emphasized that in 2020, China was not held to the same standard as Russia and other adversaries, including North Korea, Iran, and its proxy Hezbollah. The official said Chinese influence operations were consistently downplayed, while Russia's activities were routinely amplified. The official added that the CIA was driving political bias in the intelligence assessment, as well as the need to massage the president's daily brief. Known as the PDB, it is a highly classified summary of intelligence and analysis on national security. For calling out the apparent suppression of China intelligence targeting President Trump before the 2020 presidential election, the whistleblower was allegedly retaliated against. The alleged retaliation included change in the whistleblower's job responsibilities, threats to destroy their reputation. The dissent report that challenged the majority view about China's election activities was allegedly altered and the confidence level downgraded. Independent, publicly available cybersecurity reports appear to back up the whistleblower's allegations that intelligence was suppressed about China's activities in 2020. In April 2020, a classified intelligence assessment found Beijing was ramping up activities in advance of the US election. The April 2020 report was eventually declassified and publicly released 2 years later by the Biden administration's top intelligence official, Avril Haines. The intelligence community assessment, called Cyber Operations Enabling Expansive Digital Authoritarianism, warned that Chinese intelligence officials analyzed multiple US states' election voter registration data to conduct public opinion analysis on the 2020 US general election. The assessment went further, suggesting that China and Russia were increasing their ability to analyze and manipulate large quantities of personal information in ways that will allow them to more effectively target and influence individuals and groups in the United States and allied countries. Note, This U.S. intelligence community analysis is the one of the earliest, if not the earliest, warning that China was analyzing U.S. election data in the 2020 election cycle. Based on my reporting, by May 2020, there was a general consensus among the intelligence agencies that China was planning a potentially huge campaign targeting the upcoming presidential election. The Chinese Community Party's CCP effort was considered to be much bigger than similar election campaigns launched by Russia because the CCP campaign would be executed across multiple domains. At that time, the U.S. intelligence community believed China had not flipped the switch on its election interference activities. But a month later, in June 2020, an uptick in Chinese activity was identified. I understand the intelligence streams indicated the Chinese influence campaign had already begun. As one government contact put it, if the IC, intelligence community, was suppressing the China intelligence in 2020, what else was it suppressing? There was no immediate response to our reporting from the Chinese embassy in Washington, D.C. There is ongoing investigation into the whistleblower complaint and alleged retaliation by the intelligence community watchdog. A spokesperson for the Director of National Intelligence declined to comment. In response to our questions, which included alleged political bias on then CIA Director Haskell's watch, a CIA spokesperson provided this statement. Director Ratcliffe was among the first to raise alarms about China's efforts to influence the 2020 election. While serving as DNI, he publicly held the intelligence community accountable following the foreign threats to the 2020 U.S. Elections ICA, Intelligence Community Assessment, citing inconsistencies, violations of analytic tradecraft standards, and an assessment that failed to fully reflect the scope of China's election influence activities relative to Russia's. At CIA, Director Ratcliffe is committed to ensuring intelligence assessments are produced and evaluated objectively and in accordance with rigorous analytic tradecraft standards. The integrity of our elections is critical to our republic, and Director Ratcliffe has made clear that America's adversaries will be exposed and held accountable for any attempt to undermine it. The CIA Director of Public Affairs, Liz Lyons.
Wow, that's pretty powerful, Warren. That's some good stuff there.
Yeah, she said it well. And that's, I'm not sure all that, is coming out right this second, but over the coming days, that's what I expect for everyone to see. That's what's on the agenda, in my opinion.
So this is part of what is to come in the coming days, coming weeks on into, like you say, September and October.
Probably sooner than that. Over the next 2 weeks would be my guess.
Okay. Oh, dang. All right, guys. Well, Warren, I need to get you on here more often. So you brought us a lot of great information, and I just love what you brought. You're over here live on X and as well as Rumble, and then we're streaming, Telegram. And a lot of times I feel like X over there is stuck in the surface level stuff. They just talk in circles sometimes. They don't get to the core of it. So I love what you brought today. Very informative. And I'm going to try to get you on in the next couple of weeks, because and just continue as your time will permit and mine. Just, if you don't mind, come back on here and just bring the sauce. You're bringing the sauce.
I love your show. I love your show, and we seem to be able to work it out, and I'm totally with it. I love your show. So great.
Oh,
I think you're doing a great job. So I'm for
thank
you.
you, Warren.
I'm a fan. So I'm happy for you. I'm happy for what you're doing, and I'm proud of it. And this is what needs to happen. So I'm in.
Well, you heard it here, guys. Warren's going to be here as his schedule permits, because he has a day gig too. Every 2 weeks, guys, we're going to be bringing it. Warren's going to be bringing it. And, as I talk to Juan, Juan's going to be coming on here too. So I think, and I'm seeing right here, right now, I'm thinking about it as I'm talking to Warren, and just how I tell my audience, be careful who you listen to, who you follow. And, that's even I mean, I do listen to people to see. I sit and I watch. Many of you guys know, if you see me on X, I'm not a big talker over there. I sit in these rooms. I listen to what people are talking about and just kind of the BS that they're pushing out there or whatever it is, right? So, but I do that for a reason, so I can bring it to my audience, because not many of you want to do it, have time to do it. I get it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you what we heard today from Warren is just a lot of this, a lot of stuff that, Juan talks about. But this is really what we're looking for, everybody. This is the stuff that we want to hear, not a lot of the other stuff, the noise. We're still going to hear it. We're still going to see those people circling the drain. But this is it, everybody. And this is what I want to bring to you. And I think the majority of my guests are bringing it to the table, to bringing the sauce. I'm very proud of all my guests. Warren, we love you. I love you too. I love what you're doing over there at PPN. Always been a fan myself. I've watched you since I started this movement, but you are definitely loved in this community. So I think you're going to be a great addition to the Revival of America, and a very well welcomed one. So I'll touch base with you in the background, and we'll get you scheduled for 2 weeks from Wednesdays. Is that a better date for you than a Monday?
Tuesday or Thursday is better, but why don't we'll just talk about it? We'll just work it out.
Okay.
We'll work it out. Because I work most of the day. What it is, my gymnasiums are about over.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to function a little better than the last 3 or 4 months. My gymnasiums didn't stop from last summer to this summer, which is a good thing, but it is what it is. By the way, I want to make sure we talked about a bunch of great things, but if anybody, just know that we're going to see all of the facets that we have talked about and seen, which are going to look nasty. It's not all roses and buttercups and butterflies. Please know that there's going to be some rough times. If you watch what's going on in Europe and in cities and places, it's getting rough, and people were sent here. Just please watch your back. It's not going to. There's some of it's going to really suck. It's the best way I can say it. It's going to be nasty. Keep your head on a swivel, and if you're going somewhere, investigate what's going on in that town or the towns you got to travel through. My opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I kind of agree with you. Right around August, September, that area, maybe kind of stay put. But yes, everybody, I say it all the time, and Juan has been saying it here lately a lot too. It's going to be gripping. It's going to be bumpy, guys. I say that all the time. I know you hear Warren say it, Juan says it, but don't fear. Just be prepared. Mentally prepare yourself for it, because if you're not, then you're just, what do? You panic, you get fearful. But just head on a swivel, stick with the right people, and listen to the right people. And it's not going to be a forever thing, but it has to happen in order for us not to go through it again. And for those still out there, still have their heads in the sand, they've got to feel it now. However, whatever way they're going to feel it, if they are or they aren't, but it has to happen, guys. So we're here for you. This is why we do what we do. We are here for you. We're in that same movement. We're in the same train together, guys. So we got to hold on tight, brace ourselves, because we are here, everybody. And this is what we've been waiting for. But stay at peace, stay with God first and foremost, and no fear, everybody. Warren, I love you, and we'll get you scheduled here in 2 weeks. And thank you, everybody, once again for being here. For those of you that don't know, I'm going into my 6th season. My anniversary is Friday, July 17th of the Revival of America. And I want to say thank you to all of you for being a constant presence, participant, whatever you are. If you're just here to be a listener or just to speak, I appreciate all of you and my guests. And I want to say thank you all for a great 5 seasons going into 6. And I'm just super stoked about it. So thank you all for the great times. And there's going to be more. I'm not going anywhere, guys. The podcast is growing pretty rapidly, and I'm not going anywhere. So I just want to tell you I love you all. Thank you, and come back over to X Spaces tonight. We're gonna have little Miss Silk over there from the Diamond and Silk Show for some truth, transparency, and always the humor and comedy with Miss Silk. She is a blast to have on, and she is just a hoot. And I know, Warren, you know that too, because she's been on your show many times. But yeah, come join us over there, guys, for the live conversation. And I will be streaming it live through X Live as well as Rumble. So thank you, Warren, for being here. I appreciate
Yes,
it.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. By the way, tell Silk we love her. When we were working in North Carolina, she sent us 90 of the nicest sleeping bags you can find, and they were used well.
Oh, God bless her. I think she did tell me that. Yeah, she's a solid individual. I love that lady. She is just, we laugh every single time I have a show with her. So I love how she's on every other Wednesday. So yeah, it's a good time. I will tell her you said hi and that you love her.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And I enjoyed this, and you're doing a great job. And bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Warren. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, Warren.